I'm going to start getting this 6-jaw apart so we can get it cleaned up. And it's a little stiff. I'm just got it laying on its side with the chuck key in there so it doesn't flop around. Thing weighs 62 pounds roughly. There we go. Now they're all numbered. Yeah, so this is number 2. It's probably number 1. Yeah. Don't look too dirty in there, no chips at all, so like I said, I don't think this chuck was ever used. It's just sat around a lot. Now I'll pop these socket heads, get the scroll mechanism all apart. Just popping these loose. These are the adjusting screws. Won't be. Yeah, they have a little plug in them. We'll have to make it fall out of there. Since everything needs to be clean, I'm going to take everything apart. This hole here looks like it's probably for an eye bolt. Excuse me. There's one of the plugs down the bottom of the adjusting screw. Pushes against there. Alright, I finally found a little piece of brass. Now there's barely can tell, but there's a line here between these two pieces. So I'm just going to tap on this eye bolt hole, see if that will. There we go. See that? Split right open. We'll just kind of tap both of those eye bolt holes and tap it apart here. Now there's no need to mark this. There's only one spot for the chuck key. So it's already indexed. Well, there's not even a single chip in there. A little bit of old grease, but yep, all old grease, not one chip, dry. So I really do. All the grease is dried out very hard here. We'll have to scrape all that off. There's a little keeper. You'll have to tap that out. It goes down. It's down in here. See if we can tap that. We'll get that free, so this will come out of there. There we go. Yeah, that fits in there real nice. Yeah, there's no wear on that scroll at all. We're going to clean that up and make it into a brand new chuck. Okay, we got all the parts are cleaned up for the chuck. I'll just go over some. These are the tools I use to clean the chuck. I did use a 6-inch wire wheel for some of these larger surfaces, just for a quick buff cleanup. That's a fine wire wheel. I used a wire brush here, small wire brush, to get in these T-slots. That worked out just perfect to clean up. Used the long drift here to knock out this key that holds the I don't know, the pinion. It's a pinion gear. The pinion gear for tightening the chuck. This key is around there. I had to spin that around to get it out. These are a couple scrapers. Now these are really old. My grandfather actually made these. This one's made from a triangular file, ground and shaped, and then hollow. This actually has a hollow grind in it. You know, like this, between each edge. These are great scrapers to have for getting in tight places, and you can just hone it a little bit to keep it sharp, and they're nice and hard. This one here is a brazed on piece of carbide, ground to a nice sharp edge on the end of this one. Little wooden handles. These are, you know, all shop made. These type of things are very handy, especially for a flat hard surface, getting gaskets off, things like that. Of course, I use the stone on a few spots to clean up and make sure there weren't any high spots. Toothbrush, old toothbrushes are great. Always keep them all. Throw them in a box and just, you use them up. But they're great for softer stuff and cleaning out threads and things like that. An older used wire brush kind of rounded over, but for really pushing hard and working on some of the tough stuff. Little brass drift. I use that to knock it apart. When I separated it. And then use the Paul Paleni copper hammer. Love it, love it, love it. And a little bit of WD-40 here and there to work through some of that tough stuff. So that's all the tools I use, and Scotch-Brite. This is a maroon colored Scotch-Brite. That's it, and a lot of elbow grease. So jaws came out pretty nice. There's some staining from age and things like that, but some of that little bit of corrosion caused a little bit of staining here and there. But no, there's no pitting. There's no use on this thing at all. So it just sat and needed some good cleanup. Ring gear, scroll. There's no evidence of wear really at all on it, since there were no chips or anything in it. So I don't think it was ever really used. All cleaned up. This is the inside, the back part, outside. So we're going to put it together. A couple things we're going to use to put this bag together again. We'll use the little anti-seize. This is the high temp stuff, with molybdenum stuff in it, gray stuff, and we'll be using a moly paste, a low friction lubricant, and I'll be using this on the gear and the pinion gear. For low speed now. Low speed turning stuff like this is okay. Hand speed. Now, if you're metal to metal surfaces, that's what this stuff's good for. Nothing being driven by a motor or anything like that. The back side of the front, we have this key that goes in here for the pinion gear, and we'll just put a little bit of that in there. Now that's not going to rotate or anything, but this is just so it stays loose. It'll come out next time when I take it out real easy. Coat that up a little bit. Now the pinion gear is going to drop in here, and it's going to be rotating around that surface, so we're going to coat that up a little bit. Does not take a lot, just do a thin layer. It's going to ride on the surface in here, so thin coat in there. This is going to sit down in there like that, and it sits on this is machined away, so just that center part is where it sits on the high stuff. And it might rub a little bit on this outside also, so we'll put a little bit there. Depending on how much you use your chuck, you might only need to take it apart every couple of years or something to clean it. This stuff will last that whole time, no problem. Even if it's just barely, just a thin layer, it will provide lubrication. It's great stuff. We use this stuff on the ship all the time for lots of different things and assemblies and stuff. So you can get it back apart a lot of times just just for that. Now I'm gonna put some in here in the scroll before I put it in there. This won't pick up as much dirt usually as like grease does or oils. This stuff kind of gets dry, but still provides a lubricant. Now, you know, that feels a little sticky, but in time here, it will not be sticky. It will be, there, it's already getting a little better. You know, it feels like there's friction, but really there's no friction in the wear. It's just the gumminess of it a little bit right now, but that's okay. In time, it gets a little better. Okay, that's... well, we'll put some, we'll just keep going here a little bit on the gears, so. And I'm going to lube up where the pinion goes here. Air, a little air in there, pushes it right out. We'll just do this. So then this key slips in there. Rolls around. So that won't fall out, right? Looks pretty good. I think put that right back together. Just had to get that gear to a mesh. Try it out. Oh yeah. I'm going to use just regular, use the anti-seize on the bolts. Always test things along the way, so make sure everything's working before you get too far. If something jams on you, just test it out along the way. Feels great. So the numbers are marked on the face, I should say, for the jaws on the face. That's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Why is that number there? I don't know. Number 1, 2, those are also numbered. These are the adjusting screw holes, that's all. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know why they numbered them. Nothing has a reference number. Okay, there's jaw number 1, it's right here. And so we're going to get the scroll beginning of the scroll lined up. So here's the beginning of the scroll right there. Okay, we're going to take jaw number 1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of light oil in the running ways of the chuck, or of the jaws, and I put on the moly paste on the teeth, right? So now we have our tooth is right there, and we want to back it up a little bit. Now the object is to go right around, so I'll do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In one turn I'll get them all engaged. Don't be trying to go around more than once. They won't be timed right. Push it in till it engages, it hits, turn, and it should catch, and it did. And then we'll bring it around to number 2. There it is, right there. Now, like I said, just a little bit of light oil on the running surfaces here. Number 2. Okay, number 2. These ones are marked right on the end. Catch. Bringing it over here to the next one. So when these are made, what they've done is they've adjusted the spacing in the beginning, so they're offset each one's offset a little bit from the other one, so they all go in at the same time, the same distance and such. Each one's machined a little bit different, so. So if you get one you put it together and you got one that doesn't look right, it's probably in the wrong spot. There we go. They're all caught. See how we did. Make sure we got it right. There. They all go right together. Yeah, right together. Looks good. Yeah, that's basically the smallest. And it could hold something that's about, couldn't hold 9/16, so it looks like 5/8 is really, I would say, the smallest, just a touch under, but 5/8 is about the smallest you're going to be able to hold in there. Now my 3 jaw can get quite a bit smaller than that. You know, some jaws are a lot more pointed. Now if they were more pointed, you could get something smaller. But that will be, my other project is setting up a small chuck that you can hold in your jaws to hold small stuff. Now we just got to bake that back plate and we'll be golden. Now we need to put in these adjusters. These push on this out against the hub or the mount, the back plate mount, to give you some small bit of adjustment for concentricity, so you can dial it in really close. The way these are shaped, just to show you, of a shoulder. Yep, that's a 1/4 inch. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this on those and drop them down in there. Actually, it may have a 1/4 inch shoulder, but it only comes down, maybe 20 or 30 thousandths. We'll have to actually measure that. So that's the amount of adjustment you really have. Not much. They're fully assembled. Looks good. Looks really good. It's going to be a nice truck to use. And we'll be working on the back plate real soon. Thank you guys for watching. And this is just like a nice cleanup project for the day.